Hey, so it's the 5th of June, it is freezing in Melbourne. That would make it day 4 now, but it's a third fasting day, so I've just realized it'd be less confusing. I'm just gonna say this is my third day of fasting because, you know, it goes into day 4, yada yada. Anyways, long story short, day 3 fasting. It's currently 7:10. And starting as of last night after the birthday dinner, it's been 10 hours, almost 11 hours, 10:52. So I intend to fast for 20 hours, meaning I should be eating around 6 or 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. And I'm feeling good. I think that's what I want to start covering, you know, each morning, sharing how I feel. As of yesterday, I already started feeling a lot more clarity. It's great. It's one of the benefits of fasting, especially when you start reducing your glucose intake, carbohydrate intake, sugar intake, the glucose levels drop. And when your body starts using ketones to fuel your body, fuel your brain, yeah, it's just like cleaner fuel in comparison to, say, sugar. When you use glucose most of your life, you get so many crashes, and I think that's not my place to talk about, but you know, insulin resistance, insulin spikes, all that jazz, you can look it up, ask ChatGPT, that's what I've done. I'm not gonna be sitting here talking to you like I'm a nutritionist, but I will share my experience because I have done this before, intermittent fasting, reducing my carbohydrate intake, having done the keto diet, and just really flourishing from the benefits. So just wanted to take this moment to dig a bit deeper as to what started this, why am I doing it, and just in case it aligns with where you're at in your life. And if you want to make a drastic change to your health, your physique, your mental health as well, I think it's absolutely important. I'm 33 this year and just finished my Europe trip last week, right? So I got back on the 2nd of June and I already knew, having a bit of a personal story, you know, started dating Annie, my partner, May last year. But even then, a few months before that, I could already tell my fitness wasn't where it used to be. Given the fact that I stopped playing basketball, I was just gymming. But at that point, that's when I realized, all right, things are gonna start changing. You know, when you meet a girl, you start eating differently, your habits change. And so to that point, I gained a lot of weight. So I used to have abs and all, really fit, really strong. And if I'm gonna be sharing some photos now, you can see I had a six-pack, very lean. This was just around the 84 kilo mark, but in due time, lost it all. And then, you know, have you seen in my previous videos, that's my current state. Am I happy? Of course I am. You know, I'm not sharing this experience to say I'm upset and disappointed with myself of where I'm at now, because I'm aware. I'm aware of taking accountability. I know I made these decisions to get to where I am now. And with that same mode of thinking, I also have the power to change the trajectory. So don't ever sit there and blame others for where you're at now. Right? I could easily say, hey babe, you know, well, I do so jokingly and try to throw in compliments with that because she's a baker, she's a pastry chef, she also loves to cook, and as they say, to get into a man's heart, you go through the stomach, and she surely did. But, big but, I have to remind myself and look in the mirror and go, but whose hand has been holding that spoon and whose mouth has been chewing that food? It's me, right? I haven't been force-fed, though I have been, you know, well-fed. I haven't been force-fed, you know, and that's on me. So that's been an impetus for me, realizing, or not even realizing, I already knew, but I think I just wanted to find a key point of my life and within my relationship now, because, you know, I had Europe coming up, had a few things beforehand come up. It just wasn't optimal for me to just buckle down and go, all right, let's start fasting, let's start losing weight, because I already knew and already foresaw, and this is something to learn about too, right? Is planning ahead. I'm no expert, I'm still getting good at it. I'm not perfect, just putting it out there. But planning ahead will save you a lot of headache, save a lot of time. So I already knew I wasn't in the best shape since March, April. And I knew Europe, I'm gonna be away for 3.5 weeks in May. So did it really make sense to commit to a 4-week diet and try to get abs, try to get a six-pack before Europe? I'm not saying it's not good to start early, right? And I didn't say that therefore I ate like trash. I did, you know, pay attention. I ate moderately. But my point being is not overextending yourself, especially when you know such goals can be washed away. It's like climbing a mountain, right? And if every 5 steps you take and you slide back down, what's the point of climbing those 5 steps every single time? But if you need to climb up 10 steps and then get to the next rung, then do so. But obviously that will take double the time. Do you have that much time? Now I do, right? Now I come back from Europe, I don't have anything else pressing that's coming up. I think the next trip I have is Vietnam in October. So that's a great timeline for me. I already know. I'm aware that, so just run across and jaywalking, don't do that. I'm aware that from now to October, I have 4 months. Well, I got back in June, so June, July, August, September, I have 4 months to get to where I want to be. That's ample time for me to buckle down and get to where I want to be, right? As opposed to April, and I'm going away in May. Doesn't make sense to restrict my diet and do all these things, right? So that's just a forewarning for anyone who's hearing this is don't be discouraged if the goalpost or the timeline has to move because you see something pop up. Don't be hard on yourself, be proactive. Go, all right, what am I doing after that? And I'm happy, I really am. You know, I'm proud that I've started this. Even before I got back, I was telling myself I have to start it because I haven't been the happiest that I could be because I know I could be happier. I know my clothes could fit better. You know, it irks me. I have these beautiful suits I could wear to work, but it bloody is too tight on my waistline. And I know my partner still loves me for who I am and how I look, but she also deserves more. She deserves better. So that's been what has motivated me to stay on track. So look, I'm only 3 days into my fast, my third fasting session, but I've been here before. I've done intermittent fasting, as I said, not to this degree where I'm holding my fast for 18 hours average, right? So this is new to me. I'm back in the office and I was talking about this is the first time I'm doing, on average, 18 to 20 hours of fasting. My intermittent fasting in the past was varied, you know, usually around the 16-hour mark, where I give myself that 4 to 8 hour window to eat. But I really want to ramp things up. That was my challenge to myself, is let's do something different. Let's see what the outcome is, because that's exciting. I don't want to do the same thing. I want to do something different that's a bit more, I wouldn't even say extreme, but the next level up. And on top of that, adopting that carnivorous diet where I'm going to eat more meat predominantly, whilst being flexible, because I still love my vegetables. And I don't have autoimmune issues, which from what I've read is why people pick up this carnivorous diet, because their skin's breaking out, they've got acne, they've got bloating, IBS, and they don't know what it is, and they can't seem to figure out the culprit, because amongst all the veggies and greens that they eat or the fruit that they consume, they can't really pick which is what. And then they go to this carnivorous diet and it works out so well. What is the point of risking returning to that former state? So for me, just letting you know, for me, I'm doing a hybrid diet where I'm going to focus on more about carnivorous, being a carnivore, eating more meat, proteins, eggs, animal-based foods, but also incorporating vegetables, because I fucking love it. And I know they're also good for you in some way or form. The key message I just wanted to convey is start now. When I mean start now, start planning now. Be real with yourself. What are the timelines you're working towards? And when I mean start planning, I'm not saying start doing something. I'm actually saying start doing something, start planning. Don't just go, all right, I'm just gonna rock up at the gym. I've seen people do that. They rock up at the gym, I've done that actually. Let me share you a quick story as I continue my summary. I remember when I first year of uni, I didn't have a car. I was just wrapping my head around my uni schedule, and I paid $500 at the time as a part-time worker for $500 for a year's membership at this gym, which I had to catch a train to because I couldn't drive, I didn't have a car. I only went, kid you not, probably 5 times in the first month, and then never went again. So for the next 11 months, you know, I wasted money. Did I learn from that? For sure. I learned that, well, if you're to start right. And when I mean start right, I mean start with enough knowledge to know how to navigate through obstacles. That time, I still getting my head around uni. I could not foresee how my schedule was like as I'm coming home from uni, because I thought that, all right, I'm gonna have the energy to finish studying my engineering course and then come home from a tough day and then go to the gym on the way home and then catch a train again and a walk home. No, I was far too fatigued. I was too all over the place. I was still trying to manage my relationship with my partner at the time. So my point being is, yeah, it did not make sense to start then and there and drop that much money. Starting was great, but not having to commit that much was something I should have fixed. So to my point, start planning and be real. Do you have the funds to, for example, if you need 3 months worth of gym membership, do you have enough to support that? I hope you do. Do you have enough money to support a clean diet? if that's what you're trying to adopt. Check that out. Do you have income for that? Cool, check that out. And then figure out when you should start. And make sure that window, let's say you need 3 months, that not halfway through you have a surgery that you knew about and knew that it was going to incapacitate you for another month. So then therefore the goalpost moves, you get delayed, and I'll use the mountain analogy again. If you have not gotten to that ledge, to that rung, where you're not going to slide back down to the bottom, you just wasted yourself time. So just to summarize that again, and I apologize, but I hope you get my point, is start planning. Start now. Be real with yourself with terms of timelines and your schedule, your energy levels, your income, right? Because that's what's going to support you on this journey. You don't want to get too emotional and think, oh no, I don't think I can pay for my next membership for the next month or 2 months. I don't think I can afford to eat this. Oh no, right? You don't want to be having those emotional thoughts. And I think one thing there's 2 last things. Understand how you manage and deal with failure. Because I guarantee you, if this is your first time doing this, if you screw yourself over, understand how you deal with that. Do you go back in the ring and give it another shot, or do you go, oh whoops, it wasn't for me? Because I've seen that, I've heard that, I've also experienced that. Oh, this diet isn't for me. I don't like it, how it makes me feel in the first 2 days. I don't want to try it again. Even though research says it will benefit me, even though I know this is better than my previous life of drinking every weekend. But you know what? I don't like this feeling I have after 2 days of not drinking. So I think I'll return to drinking. That's the problem I hear. And I hear it from my mum too. Oh, I've exercised today and I'm so sore. I don't like how I feel. I don't want to, exercise again. You need to be aware, you need to understand pain, a sense of failure, making a mistake. That's all a part of getting better. You want perfection? You need to fail, you need to make mistakes. You need to feel what imperfection is, to know what perfection. And last but not least is setting boundaries. If you're living a solo life, then that's great. But if you are living with a person, a friend, your mom, you need to set a boundary. My mom was one of the hardest things that I had to manage and deal with, because she was such an emotional ball of just anger and misunderstanding. So when I would say no to her food, it was like an emotional attack to her. Like, oh, this is how I show that I love you and you're not letting me love you, and how dare you, and let's go eat out now and let's eat all the random stuff, and I can't finish this, can you eat this? There was a lot of emotional warfare, guilt tripping, and naturally as a son that loved to people please and being forced into that shape at the time, it was very hard for me to stick to a diet, because it was hard for me to fight and push against my mum, because I haven't set a boundary yet. Even up until now, when I go, Mum, I'm not eating today. She gets it now. She knows, he's not moving. But before, geez, she'll just keep going, oh, why not? Like, I used to eat rice all the time, and I wasn't fat. But okay, that's you. I'm different. I am fat right now. I need to lose weight. Therefore, I need to cut back on my rice. Long story short, then let me get into it. I'll wrap things up now. Thank you for listening. I hope that helps, and good luck on your journey. Let me know, drop a comment below if you're starting yours. Comment, tell me what you think is right or wrong. I would like to have a discussion. I'd like to understand your experiences, and if you even know better than me, drop it in the comments below, and I'd love to share that with anyone else who's also embarking on a journey of weight loss and growth. I'm 33. If you're younger and older, doesn't mean shit, right? I'm just letting you know, I'm 30, it's never too late to start. So start planning, be real with yourself, and all the best. Good luck.